6-3 podcast. I'm your host, Joel, my co-host, Ben. We are back in back-to-back days. Gave you some John Gruden chat yesterday and situation with the Raiders, and we talked about the Michigan Wolverines game against Nebraska and Michigan State's this week's game against Indiana, and talked about how the Big Ten might shake out. So make sure you check out those episodes. They were posted yesterday evening. Today we're going to talk about the Lions, and we'll talk about the Tigers, and then we'll get to our pick six to round it out. But obviously the Lions lost another heartbreaker that brought even Dan Campbell to tears. Same score as the Ravens game, and they both were last second pretty long field goals. Both actually, I think both career longs for both Tucker and Joseph. So it's kind of frustrating.
It's frustrating. I mean, I can't sit here and say I'm surprised, but Dan Campbell kind of talked about it. They just aren't good enough to overcome any mistakes at all. Like, other teams can make mistakes and they don't even show up, right? If the Lions make a mistake, it tends to be like a 60-yard touchdown the other way, or they're giving up a ridiculous play at the end of the game, so they played way better than I thought they would against Minnesota. The defense stood up, held Minnesota in check for the most part. There's encouraging signs again. Like I've said from the beginning, there's been encouraging signs all year. You could probably take something from each game and be like, man, this is good. It's just frustrating. And I know the players are going to be getting frustrated. I'm sure Dan Campbell's frustrated because they probably felt like they had one there. So I don't know. It's harder. It's almost harder as a team, though, when you're losing those close games than it is when you're just getting killed. Because if you're getting killed, you're just not good enough.
And you've already mentally prepared yourself. Like, okay, this game's over. We're just going to play for posterity at this point.
Right. And then if you're losing close games left and right, it can get frustrating if you can't pull one out on top, like come out on top. Especially in a game like that where they even pushed all the buttons going for two there at the end and getting it. I don't know. They really should have won the game, but they probably should have won at least 2 games this year, maybe even 3. I'd even say if you're really thinking about it. But they're just not. Again, they can't overcome any mistakes, and that's just where they're at right now. They're probably going to be there. They're going to be at that point all year long, and that's just kind of where they're at with their roster composition because it's still not good. So, and it's getting worse because everybody keeps getting hurt. So,
yeah, I don't think we expected them to beat the Packers, in Green Bay. And I think the 49ers was obviously also a crazy reach with how they played in the first half so badly. But they could have beaten the Bears, and they should have beaten the Bears. That was just a lackluster offense, didn't show up. And then I guess the depleted Bears team too as well. And then we also look at the Vikings, obviously, and the Ravens. Same score, both to a record long field goal for each kicker. One's an NFL record. So it feels kind of fluky, but this is something that we talk about the Lions, and they have fight and they have grit. And they're giving it. It seems like they're playing for their coach as hard as they can because this is not a competent roster.
No, it's not at all.
Yeah,
it's
so I think
there's no reason they should be in these games if you're thinking about it. If you're looking at it on paper, there's no reason they should be in most of these games.
Yeah, so like you mentioned it though, the margin of error is super small for a team like Detroit, and they can't afford these kind of mistakes. And I think you like to see that toughness, and you like to see that wherewithal to push through. And some lesser known people are stepping up. Jerry Jacobs held Adam Thielen to 2 catches for 40 yards in that game, and it was that very last one. Yeah, it was that very last Thielen catch that kind of hurt a little bit and put him in range. But they held Madison. Madison had a 40-yard run, but you take that away, and Madison averaged 3 yards a carry.
Yep.
So there was some good things going on there. I still love that 1-2 punch with Swift and Williams.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown starting to get the targets. It hurts that we lost Frank Ragnow for the year. Quintez Cephas is now gone for, I think, 6 to 8 weeks. I saw as well.
Yep.
Hawkinson appears to be banged up along with Sewell, so we're seeing some struggles. Hawkinson's got like 5-6 catches in the last 3 games. That's not okay. He's got to be your starting point on offense.
Teams are also focusing on him. They know they don't have to worry about the receivers all that much, so that's part of it too. But it sucks that they're so banged up because it would have been cool to see this team, how they progressed fully healthy pushing through this year. Because then if they were fully healthy, I would probably anticipate a few wins here. Now, if they keep getting banged up, it's hard to look at wins. I know we talked about it, last week with Jeff, but there's probably still a few wins that you could see on there. But if they're completely depleted, then maybe they're not wins. That's the worry.
So. With one of those potential wins, I say that in air quotes, but coming up this Sunday with the Bengals.
Yes.
Home game again. Obviously, this team is either going to respond positively to see their coach that emotional and really want it that bad for his guys. Maybe they come out with fight, or maybe they're just so sick of getting kicked in the nuts repeatedly every single week, where it's just like maybe they lay an egg again. So we don't really know. Joe Burrow, I believe, is banged up a little bit too.
Yeah, I think last I heard he's definitely going to play. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know.
Joe Mixon's been running really well though this year. And now T. Higgins is back after being on IR for 3 weeks. So they got Jamar Chase, who's been pretty hot. And then, just the receiving core with Tyler Boyd, Chase, and Higgins. And Uzoma's had a good last 2 weeks. They've got some weapons now. So if Joe Burrow is, feeling pretty good that Sunday, they're going to have their work cut out for him again, trying to keep up with the receivers. I do think the matchup to watch out for is those receivers against Jerry Jacobs, and probably I imagine Jerry Jacobs will get to start again because of what he did against Thielen. He did perform much better than Bobby Price did against the Bears.
Bobby Price is bad. We knew it anyway, but he's not good.
Yeah, he's what you want as your 7th or 8th corner. I think Jerry Jacobs is going to get that nod. AJ Parker's done a pretty good job in the slot. And then our Warrior is going to start on the other side. Over the top, we've seen significant improvement from Will Harris and Tracy Walker, especially Tracy Walker in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he was arguably one of their worst players for the first couple weeks.
Both their safeties were awful. Yeah,
he was never in the right spot, and he's still not. I wouldn't put him as good, but he's making more plays certainly.
His defense looks a lot better, actually. Just once they got rid of Jamie Collins, honestly, was it that big of a deal with Jamie Collins out there? I mean, Derek Barnes hasn't been impressive so far either, but like Alex Anzalone has been improved significantly since the beginning. Jalen Reeves-Maybin has been nice out there. They've got the defense that's holding teams to pretty low points. So it's got to continue against a pretty high-powered offense. I don't know. I really thought Joe Burrow was going to be out this game because he got drilled last week. And I'm like, okay, Brandon Allen. We get to see Brandon Allen. I'm going to the game tomorrow. Sunday. I really was excited to see Brandon Allen. But
last I heard, I thought he was going to play, but maybe
I think he will. I thought I saw it too. I mean, he went back into the game after they looked at him for a concussion too. So I think that means something. They got to play against their former tackle as well, Riley Reef. So we're going to see how Charles Harris, who has broke the Lions record for consecutive games with a sack, we're going to see how he performs.
Okay.
So Charles Harris has had a pretty good year. So that'll be nice to see him go up against Reef.
Yeah.
They're pretty weak at linebacker, the Bengals are. Jermaine Pratt, Logan Wilson, Akeem Davis-Gaither. So I think that's something where if we can get Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift to the second level.
I think the Lions are going to be able to move the ball. I really do. The question is whether they're going to capitalize in the red zone or, not have to settle for 3. Not that they really have worried about settling for 3 a lot of this year. They typically just go for it. But
they didn't even settle for 1 last week. They got that 2-point conversion.
Exactly. I think we're going to be able to move the ball. Just need to capitalize when we get down in the red zone. The problem is I also think that the Bengals are going to be able to move the ball. So there's where we have an issue. And I don't know if the Lions have enough weapons. If the Bengals are really in rhythm, if Burrow feels good enough and he's he's out there playing like he can. He does have some weapons out there. So, and I don't really know. The Lions really don't match up with those receivers very well. As good as Jacobs played last week.
It's hard to continue, especially an undrafted rookie free agent. It's not going to happen.
They'll figure him out eventually. So I don't know. I would anticipate some more points than even last week for sure.
Do you have a final score prediction?
I'm gonna go 31-21. I'm gonna go Bengals.
That's a good score prediction. Yeah. I want to take 2 field goals from the Bengals, I think. Let's see. Man, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Evan McPherson actually hasn't been that great of a kicker either for him. Maybe they'll go 1-2. I still feel like they're going to do 31. Yeah, 31 I think they're going to get. I think that's a good number. And then I'll give the Lions, I think they're going to try to make a push for it. They're going to probably kick 1 field goal as well, and 24. And I think they might have it down to like in the last drive, and they just don't put it together.
Can't fully pull it out. Which, again, we've talked about it this year. It's one of those where I'm not like
you're not invested for wins.
Invested for wins. I mean, it'd be cool if wins happened, but it's really not going to happen. So
I just don't want to see 0-17. So it'd be nice to at least get that one monkey off your back.
Right. It'd be cooler to just do it earlier. So then maybe you start getting some momentum and, but because the longer it takes, the more it's going to be like now pressure's on you to not go 0-17. If you get to 0-10, suddenly it's like, oh boy, like this could happen again. Like we don't want that. So, knock it out now. If that's the only win, hey, it's the only win. It is what it is.